terrible, unexplained silence. He had held on to the small hope that she would surprise him, that she would be there when he was released. That she was not there meant that he would have to find her, track her down if need be. He did not know how to start looking, but he would find her. He would find his wife, and know one way or the other if she was dead or alive. He walked until he was surrounded by the tall two-story buildings of downtown. He stopped when he saw a vehicle that moved with no visible source of power. This was something new and impossible, and at first he failed to understand it. His eye sought invisible horses that might be pulling it. After a moment he realized it had to be a motor car. It came toward him making a metallic sound, and the trailing cloud was unlike the dust off the back of a wagon. He had heard of motor cars while inside, but seeing one in person made him keenly aware of the things he had missed. He was entering the world anew. He thought he heard the jingle of harness and clop of horseshoes as the motor car passed, clearly his imagination, then was surprised when a horse and wagon came around from behind him. Surprised, but also relieved. The old world was not quite banished, but it had certainly eroded. In that moment, he thought he understood why his saddle hadn't been stolen. In this world, there seemed to be less need for a horse. He reached Front Street. Every sprouting town alongside the Union Pacific Railroad line had a front street that faced the tracks, with saloons, hotels, and brothels shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. Because of the tracks, these towns grew more rapidly and were more modern than the rest of the West. He passed a number of busy saloons until he chose one at the far end that was clean and empty. He walked into its cool, dark interior. He set saddle and gun belt on the rough wood floor and straightened to face a bar shining with varnish. He watched the saloon keeper feign diligence, running a white cloth over an area already spotless. The saloon was unnaturally quiet, which put him on alert. Something was wrong. Something not immediately evident. He listened, but rather than find something present, he discovered an absence. He concentrated on the distant whine in his ears, and after a moment knew it was in his head, and he was listening to silence. This was something new, as it meant the complete lack of hiss. He had lived with hiss for the last 12 years. He sniffed, and there was no smell of gas. The room held still without the sporadic judder of gaslight. He looked at glass bulbs aglow with steady electricity. He tucked the olive bandana deeper under his shirt collar. The saloon keeper watched him out of the tail of his eye as if in recognition. Harry Longabaugh tightened and shrugged it away. The saloon keeper had almost certainly served any number of recently released convicts, probably every one of them geared up in Longabaugh's haunted pallor and guarded eyes. "Before you say a word," the saloon keeper stashed his rag behind the bar, "I seen plenty of you boys come on down here from the pen, and it's always the same. Years since my last drink, like it's my job to stake you. Well, you got yourself put there, and my liquor ain't free. Better to know that while you're sober." Longabaugh dug out the coins the guards had returned when they brought his saddle, holster, clothes, hat, and boots. He set them on the polished bar. The saloon keeper nodded, moved a glass under his nose, and poured. Longabaugh marveled at it. Not the liquor, but the glass. A real glass, not a tomato can. A real glass in his hand. "Guess you ain't had it in a while. Word to the wise. Maybe you ought to go easy." The saloon keeper put the bottle back up on the shelf, as if that would keep it out of reach. "One day, someone will listen to that good advice," said Longabaugh. He heard laughter from a table in back. "But not today," said an older man's voice through a cackle. Longabaugh had not noticed anyone else there, and wondered, not for the first time, if he had lost his touch. "Got a name?" said the...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.